Oh yeah, cheers guys, Epix 911, the elitist geek. This week's update is going to ramble over a couple of different topics. I'm seated at my desk here instead of standing up where I usually do, back by the bookcase. The reason is, my fucking mic is shit. I've got a pair of Sennheiser PC330 game headphones, and the speaker on here is absolute shit. The speaker on my Logitech webcam is absolutely shit. The speaker on my Sony HD camera is absolute shit. All these microphones, with the exception of the Logitech, which I guess is, probably middle of the super low end, is probably the only one that's reasonable in terms of picking up mic volume and clarity. So what did I do to address this? I ordered myself a Blue Yeti. I've done a lot of research. There were about 3 or 4 brands that I looked at, but I got to give it to the Blue Yeti just in terms of having the complete package, having the options, having the clarity. The other one that I looked at was, and I'm just glancing off to the side here, was the Audio Technica AT2020. And I came really fucking close. I almost clicked the button. I ended up going with the Blue Yeti. It was based on one review. I looked at one review, and the Blue Yeti sounded just a little bit more shitty in terms of picking up background noise than the AT2020. But a lot of people left comments in the guy's video saying, look, you had it on omnidirectional. He said he didn't. I went and looked at some other videos, and I just couldn't get the other reviews to kind of recreate that issue that he had with the Blue Yeti. I just saw people raving about it, and to me, the clarity, it just sounded great. I like the fact that it's heavy. I've got big fucking hands, club hands. I don't like delicate shit. Delicate shit and me usually don't fucking get along. Delicate shit breaks, and it breaks fucking quick. So it just doesn't look that chintzy, you know what I mean, in terms of cheapness. So I figured for the price, I also got one of those pop filters, and I know I could do the whole fucking do-it-yourself, get the pantyhose. But I'm not going to go through all that hassle because my time's worth some kind of money too, and if I can pick one up for fucking $7, I'm going to do it. So I did. So that's the first thing. Expect these videos to get a fuck ton better. I expect it to arrive tomorrow. Super stoked, super excited. Let everybody know once the Blue Yeti arrives. I'll hook that bad boy up ASAP. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is the whole Oculus Rift. I thought it was time to do an update on that. I'd given my initial thoughts on the Facebook acquisition, and I've given it some time to fester. I had the next day commentary where I was still quite pissed off, but I've had some time to think about it. I'm still not a fucking big Facebook fan. Let's face it, Facebook can seriously lick my fucking goat testicle. I'm not a fan at all. But cold hard cash can do wonders. And if you've got a competitor, and competitors are awesome. I'm a huge proponent of competition. It's what makes our capitalist society fucking thrive. We need competition. So with Sony's Morpheus, you got to realize Sony can drop killer fucking coin on that project. Massive quantities. They can release something that's going to be very game-centric and kick ass. And one of the things that I thought about was the Facebook deal in terms of diversity. And of course, my initial freaking knee-jerk reaction was, I don't want to see Farmsville in 3D. I fucking hate Candy Crush. I don't want to see Candy Crush in 3D. Well, thinking of that in a different way, maybe the Oculus Rift is going to do more than just gaming. Obviously, that's my main thing. I'm a fucking gamer through and through. I wear my geek on my sleeve. I'm going to use it for gaming. But other applications. I was watching Linus Tech podcast or videocast where they brought up a really good point, and that was using the Oculus Rift to do other amazing stuff. Like, imagine being an old person, being locked away in an old folks' home. Your mobility sucks, and I can relate to that because I'm in the 9th week of an ankle fracture, which has fucking sucked, and my mobility has been piss. So I can relate. But being in that old folks' home and having those end-of-life regrets, like wishing you'd seen more of the world, can you imagine what the Oculus Rift could do for people like that? The fact that they could put on a VR goggle and instantly be transported to the Trevi Fountain, the Colosseum in Rome, you know, Hadrian's Wall, Ephesus in Turkey, the Parthenon in Athens, etc., etc. The list goes on and on and on. Little, you know, the canals in Amsterdam. That is a fucking cool concept. And that is where I think the Facebook deal can potentially deliver added benefit. Not just a cash infusion, right? But in terms of just being able to do cool ass shit like transporting people to different parts of the world, being able to do a proper space simulator where you feel like you're doing that. I mean, there's educational possibilities here. The list is really endless, guys. There's so much cool fucking shit that could be done with the Oculus Rift, and to just limit it to gaming is actually, that would be a travesty, a tragic travesty. So for me, that's the biggest turnaround, the biggest thing I've bounced back with, you know, the last week where I've had this time to digest it, is just the fact that it could really diversify the use, because I think we all agree it's a paradigm shifter in terms of the industry. It's going to change things permanently and forever. Whether it's successful, whether it falls on its ass, people are taking notice. Sony took notice. There are going to be more virtual reality competitors. There's going to be more virtual reality choices. With that said, to limit that to just games, yeah, that would suck when there's so many more cool things that you could do. Imagine being able to be an apprentice mechanic, a car mechanic, and you could work under the hood of any fucking car. You know, a 350, a Lamborghini, Porsche, you name it. You'd never get that opportunity in real life. With the Oculus Rift or a device like it, you could actually be a mechanic. You could do a proper surgical simulator. So the list of applications is just fucking mind-boggling. Again, a positive aspect of Facebook. The other thing that I did a huge turnaround in, and it was the only positive at the time for me, was the whole issue of John Carmack still being CTO. I'm a huge Carmack fan. I'm a strong believer that Carmack almost single-handedly, along with Looking Glass Studios, brought about the 3D revolution and the 3D technology that we enjoy so much today, whether that's accelerated 3D graphic cards or the virtual reality from the Oculus Rift. Carmack had a huge role, in some ways directly, in some ways indirectly, but you cannot dispute the impact that this man has fucking had on 3D. So to have him on board and be okay with it, and if you follow him on Twitter, some of the stuff that he said, and one of them I'm looking at right now, is everyone has had some time to digest the Facebook deal now. I think it's going to be positive, but clearly many disagree. And that just shows me he's willing to engage in dialogue. I think the other thing he said is he admitted that he may not have been part of the negotiations, but of course he was aware of them, and of course he would be. And he even joked, he said, look, it's the kind of cash infusion for him on a personal level. He could start up the whole aerospace ambition again, but then he quickly countered with, I have my focus right now, though, and my priorities are on this and programming. And that's fucking awesome. And I take him at his word for that. The other thing he was quick to point out was somebody mentioned that ZeniMax, and he said, look, we had full autonomy at id Software. It was only after we fumbled a few times consecutively that ZeniMax stepped in. And honestly, I don't see it being any different with id Software. I mean, with the Oculus Rift. I don't think Facebook's going to jump in unless there's a reason, and they're fucking shit in the bed big time. Other than that, there's no reason. The other cool thing is, and it didn't really dawn on me at the time, but is the whole thing of Michael Abrash joining Carmack, for those guys working together. Another guy I'm a huge fan of. Abrash wrote a book, Once Upon a Time. It was one of the books, it's on my shelf behind me. Programming book was his assembly language books and his Zen of graphics programming. And of course, his many articles for those that are programmers in Dr. Dobbs' journal on Modex. He brought about the popularity of Modex, and you could argue a lot of the popularity of bringing VGA to the masses. He shared in some of that by getting devs and programmers in the day excited about graphical programming. So that's another cool thing. I'm not going to ramble on for 15, 20 minutes in this one. I'm going to try to tap it out. It's just been a really hectic week with news in terms of updates on that. The other thing is an article that I was reading on Witcher 3, how Witcher 3 will go nuts on the Xbox One and the PS4. Yeah, just as long as they don't forget the bread and butter. What made Witcher popular was the PC platform, and I don't think that's what they're saying for 1 second. I just think that they're reassuring people that, look, what you see and what you've come to expect of our game on the PC, you're going to enjoy on the console. And fuck, that's nothing but good. That's a fucking good thing. Witcher rocks. It kicks fucking ass. It's a wicked series. I love the shit out of it. I can't wait to play it. I've beat Witcher 2. It's one of my favorite fucking RPGs. Easily in the top 20. And for me, that's saying a lot, because the top 20 for me goes back fucking 30 plus years. So that's huge. Finally, just to round out the conversation, Dark Souls 2. Dark Souls 2 still has me by the nards. It's grabbed me by the short and curlies, but good. I love the fuck out of Dark Souls 2. I love the fact that I can start up a new character when I get bored with a way a character is progressing and just quickly jump into another guy and have a totally different play experience. There's not many games that deliver that. You can't start a new character on a lot of games and expect the gameplay, specifically the combat system, to be so fundamentally different. And that's huge. You can even approach something like a tank warrior character class in Dark Souls 2 in a totally different way, just by emphasizing certain stats over others. Having a tank with heavy strength versus heavy dex, two completely different experiences. Pumping up your adaptability is huge in this game. Fucking massive. It totally changes the way combat unfolds, your reaction time, your graphical reaction time. Actions like swilling a potion, an Estus flask, are much quicker, much more efficient when you've got your adaptability pumped up. I still haven't really spent a lot of time on using a sorcerer or a cleric type class, but that'll be next. One thing I have experimented with a lot is some of the different warrior archetypes, whether it's like the rogue style, the finesse musketeer style swordsman, or just the fucking balls to the walls tank. That's kind of where I've been experimenting. And literally, I've got those 3 different fucking characters. I love them all. And the gameplay is so rich, so completely fucking different. It totally owns. It rocks. It kicks fucking ass. And finally, to round it all out, Diablo 3. I was one of those guys who got Diablo 3, and I was like, what the fuck? What did you do to my beloved franchise? Why did you fuck it up so bad? The auction house sucked ass. The loot system was horribly fucking broken, scarred, and abused. I was skeptical with the patch. I was skeptical with the expansion. But I gotta admit, after downloading it and playing it, I'm fucking hooked. So between Dark Souls 2 and Diablo 3, my playtime is pretty much 100% accounted for. So there you have it. There's my rambling for the week. Shit that went on, what I'm up to, interested in what you guys are up to, and interested in hearing counter arguments, or if you feel the same, let me know. Share the passion, guys. As always, I'd fucking love to cheers you guys, but, you know, here's an empty beer can, because I fucking swilled it already. Anyways, I'd love to cheers you guys, but I can't. But I will go grab one after this video. If you like this video, like the video, subscribe, or tell me to shut the fuck up. It's all good. Leave your comments below. As always, cheers, guys.